Hello,
Hey.
gentle viewer. I'm Drew Goddard, co-writer and director of Cabin in the Woods.
And I'm Joss Whedon, co-writer and producer of Cabin in the Woods.
Joss is also our sommelier for tonight. Joss, what are we drinking here?
We're having the Flowers Chardonnay.
Excellent
It's
choice.
a lovely, mellow, very broad kind of Chardonnay. I know all you viewers are interested in that sort of thing, so let's talk about the year.
We encourage you at home to get a bottle and join us. We're going to get real. We're going to really check. It's like we're in a conversation pit from the 70s here.
That's right. That's right. This isn't like just two nerds sitting in a dark room who made this movie because they have no friends and girls won't date them. It's more like we're very elegant.
Very cool.
I think
Super cool.
What's going on here is elegance and awesomeness.
Speaking of awesomeness, I do want to point out this is chocolate, superheated chocolate. I'm not kidding. That's how they got the blood. It's not blood. They couldn't get it to reflect. I know no one cares about these things, but I care about it.
No, I care about superheated chocolate. I just don't want to use it for blood.
I wanted it to feel like you could feel the reflections in the blood, and they couldn't get it to reflect, and so finally they warmed chocolate up, and it worked like gangbusters.
But what? I mean, no, wasn't blood before. You weren't using real blood before the chocolate.
Well, we tried a lot of things, Joss.
Okay,
on this movie.
okay.
I had a very specific look for how I wanted that to look. And I'm not above putting my own blood on the screen.
No, that's true. That's true. Your heart, and there is a little Easter egg of your pancreas, I think, shows up at one point.
Tony, you have women's issues.
We should probably talk about the movie.
I suppose.
Well, I like the superheated chocolate, but I also like opening.
That was in the movie.
Is
Is my point. No.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
It was good.
Are we gonna fight? Are we gonna do this here in front of all the people?
You know, I just think we need to make some changes in our relationship. That's all. Doesn't have to be now. But opening a movie with this scene, I think, is one of my favorite things that we accomplished.
Without question. And this was something that you pitched early on, and it was funny because the pitch was always, wouldn't it be great if we started this movie in the exact opposite way that these movies normally start? Wouldn't it be great if the audience actually walked in and thought they were in the wrong movie? Like you and I loved that. And then at a certain point in making this movie, after we did our first cut, the studio sat us down and said, we're worried that the audience is going to think they walked into the wrong movie. And we actually said, that was our intent. Like that, it's hard to argue with the studio at that point because we said that is exactly what we were going for. And that's where there were some fun discussions with our studio at the time about that.
Yes.
It's what always excited me about this approach to this movie is not doing the same thing and yet honoring
doing all the same things.
That's
doing
right.
Every single one of the same thing that we could do, but wrapping it around in our own movie.
Exactly.
Girl dancing in undies. Pretty much the same thing.
That's right. That's right. But it's amazing how much having Bradley and Richard, talking about fertility issues buys you. Because it says, this is not the same old movie. Well, now we can actually do the same old movie here.
And there's two parts to it. One is, what is this, an episode of The Office? And the other is, what are they talking about? Right. Which also, I think, was problematic for the studio. There's always, and this is the true for I think, any movie-making process and testing process, it's the difference between confusion and intrigue. Where they go, the audience doesn't know what that means. It's like, well, they're not going to get up and walk out because they don't know what it means. They're hopefully going to sit and find out, which they do actually pretty quickly in this film.
Right. Yeah, we don't play coy. It was important that's, again, Bradley and Richard. One of the things that I like is that a lot of people in talking about this movie, they said that's usually a reveal that would happen in the middle of the movie.
Right.
That's usually, if we were doing this in a traditional way, that would be, your midpoint, and we just start with it. And it's something that, it's a credit to you because that's always been your approach. Even at Buffy, those days where we would skip all the coy parts that you usually you do in storytelling and just get right into it. And it's something I aspire to do with the rest of my career because it just works.
Every now and then it could be a flaw. Every now and then I cut to the chase and realize, oh, it's Act 1 and they're chasing each other already. I have no rest of an act. So sometimes you gotta warm them up and let them experience the thing. But it is nice to lay some of it out. Did this guy ever do anything again? I can't remember.
It's sad. Some people have the magic and some don't, and we've never heard from him again.
Hey, he tried.
He had great spirit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that Holden?
Be right down. He just transferred from state. Best hands on the team. He's a sweet guy.
And he's good with his hands.
This is actually, for me, tiny flaw that and I thought later we should have got a picture, that we never see her as a brunette.
I know. It's true. I mean, it's one of the most difficult parts of this film is that we only have 4 minutes here to establish who they really were before the manipulation starts. And even in her case, the manipulation has already started.
Yes.
So you never actually, with Jules, you never actually get to see her before the puppeteers have been working on her.
I wanted to put in some piece of set deck for an insert of a picture of the two of them with her dark hair, but by the time I thought of it, it was probably last March.
We were shooting Avengers.
Yes.
That wouldn't have made any sense.
Yeah, I tried to get it in there, though. I did.
Fucking better be. Jules is a weekend. It's not an evacuation.
Trust me when I say there's nothing.
But even his thing where he clearly is an intelligent and decent guy, a lot of people didn't get. A lot of people were like, and he's the evil jock right away. And
you realize it was a tricky part, and it was a tricky part with testing this because this movie changes the second time you see it. Mm-hmm. It does. Once you know where we're going, that stuff makes much more sense. You understand why we're talking about textbooks and who she was before,
right.
and even her dancing in her underwears. The first time you see it, you think, this is all, I don't need to pay attention here.
Right.
We're just getting to meet these kids and we're moving on. And
this guy's the stoner.
It's exactly. So it's finding that balance was always a challenge. And at the end of the day, we just decided, you know what, we don't care.
Was that you or Fran? I'm sorry, I have to know.
That was me. That is also the car I drove all through high school is the '83 maroon Volvo.
Nice.
And it's one of those things that you look for in directing. You just look for ways to establish character that are not dialogue, that can just tell you, because you have so little time, especially in this movie, to get to know these characters. And it was one of those things. When I do the breakdowns of scenes and how I approach it, I'm always looking for little ways to establish character, and having a guy lock his door and not roll the window up, it's just in those notes.
And then Anna yelling, "Fuck yeah!"
I wish I could take credit for that.
That's just Anna. That's so Anna.
Anna just would scream "fuck yeah" about everything we would do. And at one point, I filmed it, and we decided to leave it in.
She's an enthusiast.
God bless her.
We should take a moment, but I don't know if this is it. It probably is. This cast, this ensemble, not only incredibly difficult to come by, but what a dream team.
Well, this is another area where I
was actually going to try and make a sports reference to like the Yankees. I was like, I don't remember what year they were good.
I'm surprised that you knew the word Yankees. That's good. You should pat yourself on the back for that.
It's like the second touring cast of Kiss Me Kate. They're that good.
Oh, you think he's
Strength
kidding,
to strength.
gentle viewer. He is not.
Things filed or recorded.
No, that's one of it's one of the things I'm thankful that I had you on this as a producer, just because you would not allow us to compromise. Because what happens with casting is, at a certain point, the time starts running out. The clock is running out on you, and everyone's like, you just have to cast somebody. Yeah. And certainly for me, at a certain point, you start thinking, okay, I guess we've just got to live with this. We'll go with our best choice, whoever that is. And I remember you specifically saying, no, we are never compromising this, because it's the single most important decision you can make is your cast. And you were totally right. I mean, with Anna, literally, who plays Jules, we started shooting on a Monday, and we flew her in from New Zealand. We watched her on tape from New Zealand, because that role in particular was so hard to cast, I think, because you're asking people to play two parts. You're asking them to play, who they are and who their archetypes are. And that archetype in particular is a very easy one to just phone it in for a lot of the people we saw.
You're also asking them to get nude, which if we were French and then nothing happened in this movie, they'd do in a heartbeat. But it's a horror movie where they're going to die, so it means something different, which I understand, which is valid.
That's right. And when you hear just, hey, horror movie, get naked, you don't want to do that. I get that.
We didn't want to do it.
That's right. It's very
again,
uncomfortable.
Thank God for Anna, who could care less.
That's right. And so I remember, though, when we do those scenes, I'll talk about that a little more.
I was out of town, so you're going to have to.
Oh, my God. I was so nervous on set. But God bless her. And God bless Chris. And our whole cast. I mean, we really saw hundreds of people for these 5 parts. Well, except for Fran, because you knew him. On Dollhouse.
No, Fran.
He was the only one that we were like, yeah, that's the guy.
His audition was spectacular.
Off the charts.
Just that combination of I'm funny and clearly stoned, and I'm the moral backbone of this and the most intelligent person here. It just even in our fake sides, which we did for all the auditions, he rocked that. Do we talk about how we came to this location on the first day and it was covered in snow?
Oh yeah, day one of my first directing experience. This nice summer movie where kids are having fun, clearly on their summer break. We show up to set and it's covered in snow.
And that night before, it was. This is an example of me as why I'm a bad producer. It's covered in snow the night before, and I call the line producer and everyone. I'm like, there seems to be a lot of white stuff, and it seems to still be coming down. They're like, no, not where we're filming, 20 minutes away. And so I go, okay, the grown-ups told me, so it must be so.
We had that moment, I remember, because this was our first time in our respective positions, where we suddenly, while we're standing in the blizzard, realizing, oh wait, we're in charge.
Yeah,
we're actually the people that make these decisions, and we did. But it was definitely day one. There was a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah.
By the way, this location is not a gas station. It's actually just somebody's house, and we just dressed
changed nothing.
No, we put the gas pump out front.
Yeah, but I mean the house itself,
including the Confederate flag in the window. That's actually there.
Which the strong Confederate contingent outside of Vancouver is, I guess, not really documented as much as you'd expect.
God bless Jesse Williams. He walked in and was like, I'm not sure I'm welcome here.
That's the feeling we want. Use it.
Work with that.
I will say, how much fun Tim also.
Tim Dezarn.
Yeah, he just one of those really fun, game, grateful character actors. Is just the opposite of a lot of guys, and I've done this. A lot of guys who play crazy are crazy.
Absolutely. His audition scene, I believe, was because we wrote fake sides for all these parts. I want to say it was him arguing with the vending machine about his dollar bill while talking about big existential problems. Yes. And everyone else came in and was just crazy and over the top, and Tim just played it understated, and that's always what we're looking for. Yeah,
you always want less.
Well, because I always said we let us handle the silly. We don't need it to get more silly because clearly we've overstepped our bounds already.
Yeah. If you have any idea what we're doing here, you know that we've gone too far.
That's right.
So you can just relax.
Please pull us back.
Really good bird. Designing the fence was brutal.
It was because again, it's that same problem of we know we're getting ridiculous, and yet we need this to feel grounded.
Yeah, it has to feel like that's what it would look like if it was there, and it could be there. That's so hard. And I remember this because I turned into, I don't want to say Joel Silver exactly, but a classic producer. This is when you had that crane shot going, and I was like, "That's right, show the woods. I paid for these woods." I got so excited. I was like, give me production values. Look at those woods.
It was one of the great benefits of shooting in Vancouver where we shot just gorgeous woods. And wherever you put the camera, you felt the sort of isolation and oppression that we were going for. You want to feel alone, and that the skyline, you can't tell where the woods end and the sky begins. You want to feel that.
It's actually not that big a patch of woods. Because I wandered around there a lot.
Yeah, it was a state park, so it was just a park, and yet you still felt it. We couldn't get that anywhere in Los Angeles for sure.
No, but it had that feeling of endless freedom, and then you'd sort of walk a little bit further. It's like, oh, freedom ends, but
freedom ends, and here's where Twilight is shooting because they were shooting.
Yeah, our freedom was hampered particularly by those randy young teenagers.
Every outdoor shot, if we panned just to the left, you would see Bella and Edward. They were right there shooting. I've already said too much.
Yeah, you've not only destroyed the magic of this film, you've now destroyed the magic of all the Twilight films for young viewers. Well done.
Something tells me Twilight's going to be okay.
No, I think you've hit them in the starting gate. I don't think that franchise is ever getting off the ground.
Somebody should apologize to them. I'm sorry, Twilight.